recording. We're all here.
Well, I didn't get that welcome. Good God.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So Melissa texted me. She'll be on in a minute.
Here I am.
By the way, Deb, what's all over your chest? You look very glowy.
I love that you guys are both doing your hair right now at the same time. You're like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mine's like super 80s right now.
Oh my God.
I gotta fix it. Look, I haven't washed it.
Let's get physical.
I know, right?
80s is Brooke's favorite.
that's like
Oh,
I
yeah.
should have been in my prime.
Yeah.
I'm living in the wrong
I
decade.
love your eyelashes.
Oh, thank you.
Those are some big
They're fresh.
lashes. I like them.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, I was at the gym the other day and I got done with my workout and I went to the, you like go look at yourself in the mirror afterwards. And I realized I had wiped part of my eyebrow off. And I'm like, this wouldn't have happened to Brooke because hers are.
They're on permanently. They are on.
I'm so jealous.
I love it.
Speaking of makeup and the gym, last night I fell asleep in my makeup, and I had a lot of makeup on. And this morning I was supposed to pick Rachel up from the airport, but she ended up, her friend drove her. And so I woke up, I had like fake tan on, my whole makeup on, and I just hopped on the cardio machine. I just hopped on the stairs and I got off and it was just all just like lines down my face. Like beautiful. The inside of my clothes are like orange now. It's fine.
When I remember so many times when I was younger going to bed with makeup on, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel like this is the difference between if I'm gonna age or not. If I take it off at night, I'm like so diligent about it. When you were young, you're like, just a little more mascara in the morning, we're good.
Yeah. I often go to work and just like touch up my eyebrows, put some foundation over my foundation.
We can get away with so much more when you're 23.
God, yes.
25, 27, 20s. How is that? Well, let's do an introduction. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Women's Fittest. The gang is all here. I'm super excited. I just love each of you in your individual ways so very much. What'd you say? You love me too?
Love you too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So what's been going on?
It's been a long 2 months, I feel like.
Yes.
Very long.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Life's been exceptionally trying.
Yep.
We have a new child.
Oh.
Not from my uterus, though. Isn't that where they come from? I don't know.
Nothing like that.
A new little baby. She's so cute.
What's her name?
Athena.
Aw. So tell us the story. What happened? How'd you get her?
She just showed up one day. I'm just joking. Tiffany made it sound like she just was gonna show up one day, and I was like, "You're joking, right?" And then here she comes, like through the door with this little baby, and yeah, she's so cute. She's our oldest Dogo's sister, like same parents, but she's got a pirate eye, and she's really, really cute. She's so sweet.
A puppy or
Yeah.
Oh.
She's a puppy. Yeah, so she's like I think 9 weeks at this point.
So she's little.
She's little, but she's gonna be fucking huge because she's Dogo or so like she's gonna be at least like 90 to 100 pounds. That's probably playing it safe too.
Ugh.
Nice.
That's
Melissa, are you in prep right now?
Am I what?
Are you in prep right now?
Yes, I am.
So tell us what's going on.
My first show is going to be Chicago, which is in 15 weeks now.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do Tampa, which is the following week, and then Texas 2 weeks after that. So back to back to back. And I feel great.
amazing. You look amazing.
Yes, you do look amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's like weird. I keep like when I see my pictures, my check-in pictures, I'm really happy with how I look. But like I look better than I feel, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like I feel like I'm not where I am or even close to where I need to be at this point. But
Normal.
yeah.
You should feel like that, you know, like, because then you wouldn't, why try if you feel like you're not there? You know what I mean?
Right.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm doing all the things. I switched my cardio to fasted, and I switched from the treadmill back to the stairs. I'm just trying to push things. So I'm excited, and I mean, Rachel, she's going into her shows right now, and she looks fucking insane. I don't know if you guys saw her guest posing last night. I don't know if anything's been posted of it yet, but she's crazy looking, and I'm lucky enough to spend every day with her and have that motivation and just inspiration, even when I feel like I don't need it or don't want to see it or don't want to hear that I should be doing more posing or anything like that. So that's great. And then and I work with Sarah and a bunch of other incredible athletes and Olympians. So that's cool. And I've been in Dallas for 3 months now.
Okay.
February, we got here, February, March, 2 months.
2 months.
And I could be here for a year. I don't even know. Like I'm so like settled.
Do you love it? Are you loving it there?
Yeah. So prior to last night, I had only been to work, home, and the grocery store. And last night I went to like Fort Worth, which is like 45 minutes away. There was an NPC show there. And then I went out with my coworker, Shannon, to we just like went and sat at a bar, just like sat there and just like enjoyed the scenery.
You were the scenery. You let people enjoy you.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're part of the scenery.
Well, walking up, she was a trophy girl at the show. And I dressed equivalent to her, and we're like walking around with these like nice dresses, and everyone is wearing like in this area, people wear like cowboy boots and hats. And we're like muscular girls walking around in these little dresses, and we were definitely a spectacle.
Yes.
I'm sure you all know what that's like.
Mhm.
Just gotta, avoid all the eyes and the how much do you bench press, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it was a lot of fun to actually be out. So
Do you guys get asked that a lot? Like that's a grocery store question. How much do you
That is.
get?
Yeah.
That's like the universal question. How much do you
the
bet?
grocery store, for some reason, I always get, we should arm wrestle.
Oh, I hate that.
Don't
That's
arm
my
wrestle.
biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
Don't do
I'm
it.
just, one time a guy said it and like grabbed my arm. I was like,
Oh,
Don't
Do you guys
touch-
know Alicia Young?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the biggest thing. Why not? You shouldn't arm wrestle. She arm wrestled some guy at a party, and because I used to be really good friends with her, she arm wrestled some guy at a party, and she beat him the first time. The second time, because he like wanted to like redeem himself, whatever. And he came back, and he just like real quickly, and it snapped her humerus, so she has a huge scar like right there from where she had to have surgery. So and I guess he was like some like champion or something. It was just like a shitty situation. And so I'm always like, don't arm wrestle, because people will like, you can get hurt, obviously. Like it's crazy. And it's just dumb. It's like, who are you trying to like, what's the point?
well, it's like it's always to me, I'm thinking like, you're a guy. You are stronger than me. You want me to just tell you you're stronger than me? You should be, because you're a guy.
Yeah. Your dick's
Absolutely.
big. You win. I mean, is that what you want?
yeah, that's exactly what I want.
Like, woo!
Do you guys get some of those? I won't say stereotypically what nationality they are, but there's a picture of their bicep and they're like, challenge or something like that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I don't know if it's spam or what.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Brooke, didn't you have somebody say, "Can I call you sometime?"
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like I get messages all the time asking for my phone number. I'm like, why would I ever give you my phone number?
Gotta shoot your shot. You
I
never
mean,
know if you don't try.
Hey, I will tell you though, and this is kind of crazy and kind of creepy. So somebody does have my phone number and they are using some sort of app and they fuck with me all the time. And it drives me crazy. And sometimes it's like funny stuff. And then sometimes it's like way perverted. Other times it's like just being an asshole. But I mean, I have to block the number all the time. I have no idea who it is.
Oh,
Who knows. I have no idea how they got my number, but it drives me up the wall crazy.
Yeah.
One time, so this guy had told me, you know, at the gym, Ryan, he was like, hey, somebody called up here for training for you. And he was like, they said that they were a girl. He said, there's no way that that was a female, you know, so whatever. And Ryan gives them my number. So Ryan has now learned to never give out my number. So I get this voicemail and it was the most hilarious thing I've ever heard in my life because they are acting as if they are a female and there was nothing feminine about their voice. I mean, 110% was a male.
Oh.
It was crazy, crazy. So what I did is I made kind of like an automated text message, you know, and sent it over to them. I can't even remember what it was that I said, but basically it was stating that I wasn't taking on any clients, you know, and then they started to try like have a fight with me, like argue with me via text, but I just never responded. It was the most bizarre situation I've ever had. It was weird. So
somebody's like calling you from a burner phone all the time. So the numbers.
Yeah. They like text me. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, I don't know. It's like there's been some odd messages sent.
Oh God.
Have to like laugh about it, but whatever.
I think things are with the craziness of the world. I think things are getting
Okay. I didn't.
crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lately, since I've moved here, you saying that they sound like a guy on the phone brings this to mind. Like I've gotten in the past, like occasionally that like, you know, like sir on the phone, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've been here, I don't know if it's the people in Texas or if it's me, but every single phone call I make to like, you know, the vet or like the whatever, the doggy daycare, whatever, whoever I'm even in a drive-through one time, everyone calls me sir. And I mean, you know, they're hearing what they hear. I'm not like, excuse you. I'm not mad about it. But just like, is my voice really that deep? Like, I don't know. But I went, actually, when I was at the drive-through, it was like a McDonald's or something. I got like an iced tea. And I said to the woman, I was like, can I, like, ask you something? Like, I'm not offended at all when I got to the window. I said, like, does my voice like really sound like a guy? And she was like, yes, but now that I see you, you're very girly. And I was like, thank you. But she was like, it does. Like, okay.
I don't think that you sound masculine at all. I don't think so.
But I think my voice is raspy for sure, but I don't think it's masculine. Maybe it's because you see my girly face. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I'm on the phone with a guy, like a guy's phone, I definitely know it's a guy. Like, I don't think like I think you can always tell the difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes like it's not normal to see a female with muscle. So people, they don't know how to take it, you know? So sometimes whether you look masculine or not, they take it as you're a female with muscle. And let's be honest, there are females obviously that are very masculine in the sport, you know, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful by any means, but there are females that kind of like sway to that end. But I think that there's tons of females in the sport that are very, very feminine and they hold a lot of muscle mass, you know?
Mhm.
So it's not normal for people to see somebody with a lot of muscle, especially a female. So they just, for whatever reason, they think that's manly, whether they truly are or not.
It's especially funny because like how many men out there are that muscular anyway? Like,
Yep.
Like I feel like it's just like people, like there are some people that are muscular and like, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be more men than women, but like usually the men who like say something about it are like look like less of a dude than I do anyway.
Yeah, you're like, well, yes, I probably am more manly than you.
That's that emoji.
You know,
Yeah.
you notice guys
It's
that
white
talk
men too.
more feminine voices more so than you notice. Because a lot, like women can have huskier voices, like you hear that quite a bit. But with like, I don't
Brazilian
think that's
women,
weird.
they have
As
deep
much-
voices.
What's that?
Like the like Brazilian women.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
very deep voices. Yeah.
they do. Yeah.
So I'm like,
I love that word. I love husky.
Husky.
You're just husky.
Kira, that was your nickname in college.
Oh, back in the day, you know. No, it was actually backhoe. She's looking at me.
Backhoe.
Just kidding. Oh, I heard that.
Oh my gosh. You guys, I got the weirdest direct message. Okay, so I hardly ever look at direct messages. I'm going to say that for sure. So, you know, you have your messages, you have your direct messages that are waiting for you. And then there is ones that they hide from you that might have offensive content or whatever. So I like looked into that last night. I don't know why. And like there was a message from somebody with a burner account because it was like no posts, no nothing, telling me that somebody had HIV. And I'm like, so I'm like, I don't know if I should just ignore this. Like, is this some girl who's like spiteful? I have no idea. Right. So I go, I don't know anyone by that name. And this morning she replied and she was like, or overnight, she sent me a picture or his account or whatever. And I was like, I don't know this guy. And she goes, well, I'm just letting you know because he follows you and I'm messaging every girl he follows because he gave me HIV.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I am so sorry. I know I said, I'm so sorry this happened to you, but I go, I don't use Instagram to date or talk to people. I go, and I'm not sexually active, so I don't have to worry about stuff like that, which isn't anybody's business, but I'm like, I don't want to have to worry about shit like this. So this is part of the reason why I'm like, you can't get HIV from somebody just living on the same planet with them. So I'm okay. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But yeah, that was super weird. That did not go at all how I thought it was going to go. Like, I thought it was some girl who was like, are you talking to my man?
God.
Hey, I'll tell you, I got a direct message once and somebody had sent me a photo and it was me. It was like one of my competition photos. And they said, I just want to let you know that somebody is using your images on a dating website. And sure enough, they absolutely were. And I couldn't, you know, I wasn't a member of this dating website, so I couldn't report the account. So I'm like messaging this person and I'm like, hey, can you report this account? Because clearly it's not me. And it's so funny because I actually kind of took offense to it. They said I was like, I don't know, 6 foot, I was 275 pounds and a science teacher. And I think it was like from Illinois or something. I can't remember, but it was hilarious.
You said you were, what was the last part?
I was a science teacher, 6'1", 275 pounds. I mean, I was a monster. So
imagine that being there. Holy shit.
I know, it's crazy.
Brooke moves up to bodybuilding in the Olympia.
I know. I like am
men's
growing. My height's getting better.
At that size, you'd be in the men's open.
No kidding.
Yeah, you could do science experiments on stage.
That's so true. So true.
That could be your skill.
That's so
Yeah,
bizarre.
her routine.
Yeah.
Experiments up there.
I've had that before too, where people are like, yeah, I've seen you on this dating app, or I've seen you on Tinder. And I'm like, well, it's not me. So good luck with that.
Let me know how it goes.
When you meet up, don't be surprised when the dude has a penis, you know.
Oh God, people are bored or something. That's crazy.
They are. People have way too much time on their hands.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What gets me is the people who, there's like pages that are like fan pages of like one specific person, but like super like of a celebrity, and they'll like post every picture that the celebrity posts, and like you're really spending your life on their life. Like you're active on this, you're into this, and I mean honestly it makes me kind of sad. I'm like, this is like a waste, like
what's the, I've never understood the point of that, like
there
or
was
like how someone gets into like the mindset that like that's what they want with their time. Like on what date did that become your calling? You know,
there's got to be something messed up, because like I did this the other day because I went down this rabbit hole. I saw this guy who's on Saturday Night Live, and I was like, he was doing the Weekend Update, the news. I was like, this is like the best looking guy I've ever seen. So I like see if I can find him on Instagram, and he's going to be doing stand up somewhere. So I look in the comments, and some girl goes, "Is your wife going to be there?" And I'm like, "Who's his wife?" And I'm like, so I look, and it's Scarlett Johansson. And I'm like, of course, because you're the most beautiful guy I've ever seen. So of course you are with Scarlett Johansson. But so I look for her Instagram account. Well, she doesn't have one, but there's like 3 fan page accounts, like you said, Melissa, that have hundreds of thousands of followers. It's like, you're not even the real person. You're just posting pictures of Scarlett Johansson, and you have 300,000 followers or something. It's crazy. Like,
you career off that?
What's that?
Do you think you can make a career off that, like a living?
I don't know. I think people truly have like a mental disorder that do things like that. Look, I'm getting a phone call. Let me ignore that. Sorry. I think people truly do have like a mental disorder, and some sort of like obsession, because you see like all these celebrities, and they'll truly have like stalkers, people that idolize them, and they think that they truly know them. I think people have like major mental disorders. I'm all for being a fan of people. I mean, I'm a fan of so many different people, but it's not going to hinder my life. I'm not going to obsess over what it is that they're doing in their everyday life and blast it and post it everywhere. I might ask for like a photo if I saw them out in public, but it's probably going to be the extent of it.
I run your fan page. Can I get a photo?
I know.
Yes. I know it is weird. It's like, what do you think? Do you think they're gonna like call you or like recognize you and be like, oh my God, thank you so much for that fan page? It's like, it's bizarre to me.
Do you guys have any followers that kind of like that, like genuinely like think that they know you? Like you can tell by like the tags and the comments and the DMs, like even if you're not responding, like they talk to you like they actually have a relationship.
In the comments, they'll call you friend or by your first name in a way that, so like almost like maybe other people might think, and you're like, I don't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yes. I'm having all sorts of issues. I don't know. Okay, my phone's doing weird things. I've had people act as if they've coached me before. 100%. Yeah. And I'm like, I have no idea who this person is. No idea. I worked with a girl, and I actually coached her, and she had came to me and she's like, and just in passing, she was like, well, I was working with your coach. And I'm like, what? Who? You know, and at that time, my coach was Jose Raymond, you know, and I'm like, you're working with Jose? And I can't even remember the guy's name. And she was like, no, here's his information. And she showed me screenshots, and it was the most bizarre thing. And obviously he had so many different things wrong, you know, like in my competitive career, he was talking about me going from bikini to figure and making the transition to physique. And I'm like, dude, I've never competed in figure actually. So like, if you're going to act like you're my coach, at least kind of like get your facts in check, you know, but it was the oddest thing. And I had to like go and call him out. And he even had the audacity to basically be like, you know, the truth. Like, what? I don't even know who you are, you know? It was the craziest thing.
Oh my God.
Craziest thing.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, you know, there are some coaches out there. Well, Brooke, we were talking to Marissa about her horrible experience with a coach who just do the most wild shit and continue to do it to person after person. And somehow, you know, even with all the regulations and everything, you know, obviously this stuff is only regulated if reported, because, you know, these, you know, coaches don't have to have, you know, if you're genuine and authentic and actually know what you're doing, there shouldn't be any issues. You know,
Yeah.
it's my decision to work with you, your decision to work with me, it's between us. But then there are coaches who do like shady shit, and this is our health at stake, and they don't get in trouble for it. Their clients, just because they hired them and pay them, regardless of what's actually happening, they think that like coach is like God. So they let them play God, and then let them make these like choices for what they do with like their bodies. And they're just like, okay, like, you know, and even when it's wrong, they can, like, the competitors continue to do it, and then the coaches continue to do it to other people, even though they see the effects it's having. And it's really sick.
Yeah, I think this industry is like the easiest to be the shadiest.
Yeah,
it's so easy. Like whether you're actually a coach or just a personal trainer, fitness in general, it seems like I hear a lot of like horror stories from different people, you know, who go to one trainer and the person treated them like this, but they didn't know any better because they hadn't worked with anybody, so they had no comparison. So I feel like a lot of times, yeah, this fitness industry, it's very easy to be so shady and corrupt.
I think that I hate to stereotype women, but we're very trusting and we want to trust people. And so I think it takes some time. And, you know, I would say the encouragement would be like, learn to say no about things and not have any shame or guilt about saying no, like on a regular basis. I think we just say yes to things way, way too much. I mean, Brooke, you and I had this conversation about, you know, just stuff that was going on in your life. And I was like, we're friends. You can say no to me that you can't do something, you know, just let me know what's going on. And that's it. Like, and I even said, you don't owe me an explanation about stuff because this is your life. So, you know, I was listening to a YouTube video where Charlize Theron was talking about way back in the day, she went to like a casting call and this director put moves on her or something. And I don't think she actually went through with like anything in order to get the role. But she said, looking back at it, she's like, I walked away and I didn't like tell him no. And she's like, I don't understand because I'm not this type of person that lets guys walk all over me or take advantage of me. And she's like, I don't know why I did that. And she was actually on Howard Stern, and he was like, well, you're trusting somebody and you can't even believe what's happening when it's going on. And I think sometimes we just get caught up in stuff like that. And it's like, is this really my life right now in the situation? Somebody's actually like who I trusted is trying to take advantage of me. And, you know, we don't want to believe it. And that's why things happen to us. So I don't blame anybody for those things happening. It's so unfortunate that we have these predatory people out there who are, like you said, Melissa, really taking advantage of someone who trusts them and, you know, is trying to basically accomplish a goal. You're like, what can I get out of this person? And you end up destroying or taking a piece of them, you know?
There's definitely, like, I'm sure there are instances where it's unintentional, but I think we're talking about the ones where they know what they're doing.
Because it's repeated.
Right. And they know that what they're doing is wrong, and they know that nothing's going to happen to them for it. And they know that they have more people under their belt trusting them than the people that they've hurt and have walked away.
Well, and especially in this industry, girls are so vulnerable. I mean, this is part of the reason why, you know, we do this podcast, because we want you to have information from the very beginning so that you're not blindly getting cheated or manipulated by people who aren't reputable in this industry. Because, you know, I do think the fitness industry does have a lot of people like that, but there's a ton of really great people. And if you can find that core group that has, you know, a higher moral expectation. I know, you know, we talked so much about when we lost John Meadows, it was like, here we had this moral pillar of our community. And, you know, it's up to the rest of us who want to be that type of person to really step up and shine so that people can see, you know, lights in our industry as to who to go to as far as looking for coaches and advice and what's right and what's wrong.
You know, I think it's very important as a competitor, whenever you have a coach, your coach should be mindful of your health. You know what I mean? Like, there is a life outside of bodybuilding, and they need to understand that you need to be in a good place after your competitive career is over. And I think, and I'm not saying obviously that there's coaches that don't care about their athletes, because obviously that's not the case, but there's coaches out there that they don't care, you know, and they don't put their clients' health at number one. And I think competitors and their clients are willing to do these crazy things, and they're not concerned about their health in the long run. You know what I mean? So at that given moment, all they're concerned with is, I'm going to do anything and everything I have to in order to win. Or they might have that, like, oh, that won't happen to me mentality as well, you know, which I mean, I understand. I think we all kind of have that to a certain degree, like, oh, that's not going to happen to me. I don't have to worry about that, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's just life. That's not even from like a competitive standpoint. But I do think as an athlete, you have to talk to your coach long before you ever even hire that individual as a coach, and draw those lines and make sure your coach and you have this kind of common ground where you feel comfortable telling him or her no. You know what I mean? And your coach actually should be okay with that as well. If a coach is going to be upset with you saying, you know, I don't feel comfortable doing that, that's probably a red flag. You know, it's the line of communication goes both ways. And I'm a firm believer in that. And that's something that I always loved about John, is John would always tell me, communicate with me. You know your body. And that's like in every single different regard, whether it was a diet aspect or training, whatever it was, he wanted me to voice my opinions and my thoughts and how I felt, you know? So I think every athlete or competitor should have that kind of relationship with their coach, and their coach should be open to having that with them as well.
And that can only make it better for both parties, you know?
Absolutely.
And for the athlete's career and for the coaches. Yeah. I mean, both parties in every aspect. One of my biggest pet peeves that I hear coaches doing, especially ones with, like, you know, big teams, is when you hear that a coach is telling girls what suit color to get, what company to go with, not, oh, you should do this. This is my opinion, but you have to get this suit. You have to get this nail color. You have to go with this tanning company. As far as I'm concerned, you're hired to get my body ready for stage. But I'm doing this because I want to compete and I want to show myself in a way that I want to show myself. Like, I mean, I don't know what you guys think about that. And I'm sure there are instances where it is more of a recommendation, but I've heard instances where it's very forced. Like you
Mhm.
have to do this. Like I'm telling you as your coach, paint your nails color.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But like, yeah, like it's good to, I mean, some girls just have no idea, you know, like certain colors look good on certain people. Yeah. But then, yeah, I've heard like some coaches, like they're very, like too specific and like mandate it. So yeah, I know what you mean. Like there's a difference between like giving best advice versus like do it my way or else.
Yeah. It's like, this is part of your protocol.
Yeah.
I'm all for recommendations, and with all my clients I will recommend, you know, because I think obviously certain colors don't work with certain complexions, and I might give them something I would do for their particular physique, their skin tone, and that's and makeup. You know, I will give them a recommendation, but I'm not going to enforce anything. At the end of the day, they are grown, they can kind of make that decision on their own, and I do obviously want them to be happy too. So if they kind of want a suit from a different company or a different color than what I recommend, if they feel comfortable and confident in that, that's the right time to go. But I can give them a recommendation, because all of those factors you do have to take into consideration, you know, whenever you are on stage. Hair, makeup, you know, I will always tell any competitor, you want like a good polish look. You don't want to be remembered for like crazy wild hair on stage. You might love that, right? And that might be like something that you would rock off stage. But to me, I would say I wouldn't do that. I would go with more of like a polished, clean cut look. But at the end of the day, it's up to them. If they want to do something crazy, let them do it.
Well, this is where it's just open to discussion. You know, if you go to your coach and say, you know, I'd like some opinions. I remember, you know, when I was judging, I had one girl who was on stage and she had like, I think it was red, like she had real red hair. And you have to be very careful with your suit color when you have bright, like, I don't want to, it sounds bad when I say like Ronald McDonald, but really bright burgundy hair, because you just get too many colors going on, you know. And she was actually talking about like, you know, white and black suits are often like, sometimes they can blend in with the background, but sometimes you got to do something that's going to be a little bit more neutral if you're going to go with this, you know, a wild hair color, because you don't want to look like a clown with all the colors that are going on. So yeah, a discussion is great, but for somebody to say like, you have to do this, now you're really taking away the creative element of, you know, bodybuilding, or of competing, and making it less fun, I guess I would say.
Yeah. Now, one time going into a show, I did have, it was I think maybe my national show, that when I did nationals in 2020, I had like all this, you know, my bling, whatever, and I had a matching, like a really thin like choker, and Shelby was like, get rid of it. Because like, I mean, you don't want anything to cut you right there. You know, it's distracting, and like that, I was like, done. Like, okay, like, understood. Whereas that's like, yeah, I mean, and I have seen people wearing that stuff on stage, and it is incredibly distracting.
Yeah. It really just depends, you know. I think about like, Melissa, you always wear your ponytail, and I wouldn't normally say like, oh, you should wear a ponytail, but it looks so amazing. You're just like, I almost expect it. You had the one show, you're like, I didn't do the ponytail, and that's what happened. Like I placed, you know.
I agree. I love her ponytail. Like I don't think I could get away with it, but like hers is like so sassy and like just
you
like
look like a princess, but it's really powerful. I love the ponytail.
Chic. It's very chic.
Yeah,
I've worn one of those claw things. That's a bad idea. I look back at pictures, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking?
I wish I could do the ponytail. To be honest, I'm a little jealous, but I do think that it's important to express yourself on stage. So you want to do something that you feel comfortable in. If you go on stage and you have your hair down and you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel confident, then don't wear it that way. Rock the ponytail. You know what I mean? I think that is so important, but it's just, it's all within reason. I think a coach has to find that fine line. I can give you recommendations and do what I think would be in your best interest, or what I would personally do for that physique and that look. But you got to take it upon yourself to say, do I want to do that, or will I feel more confident doing this, you know? And some of it, to be honest, is trial and error. I'm sure we've all been on stage and we wore our hair a particular way, did our makeup a particular way, maybe wore a suit that we're like, yep, not for me, never doing it again. I mean, I've done that numerous times, so
Yeah.
live and learn.
The nice thing about hair up is when you have all the oil and the stickiness, like your hair doesn't get like greasy looking, and you have to get that, you know, that is an element that I can't, that's why I don't even like having my hair down, because I get all this lotion that Tara nicely pointed out. It looks so glowy.
I think it looks great. I think you're glowing. It's gorgeous. I have to tell you this quick hair story. So like it was like my either second or third Olympia. I don't remember, but I was at my table at the meet and greet, and this fan, super fan, schmo. I don't know if you guys call him that either too, but a schmo fan came up to me and he was like, you know, I really have to tell you, I didn't like your hair last year because it was like I did look like, you know, Gandalf or whoever it is from Lord of the Rings with like the old man with like the white hair, you know. I did look like it was a little white. But this guy, camera around his neck, I was like, sir, thank you. I will no, thank you, sir, because that really saved me. I will never do that again because of your recommendation. It was just so funny. I was like, who are you? But he came up to me like he knew me from like, who knows?
Like he personally knew.
He does know you.
He's
He
like,
does know you. You just don't know him.
talk about your last,
It was great.
he's like, Kira, we need to talk about your last stage presentation. I got a few tips.
Please. I'm never going back on stage, but thank you.
But you know,
Too.
that stuff always frustrates me because you get that, like, okay, like I'll post like a current physique update, and there's always somebody that's got to just be an asshole, like, oh, well, you look great, but your casts aren't that impressive, you know what I mean? And I'm like, do you think for one moment I think that my physique is absolutely perfection? Like, right. I promise you, I criticize myself more than any other person criticizes myself, you know? So that drives me crazy for those individuals that will just try to knock you. Like, we're very critical of our physiques, and it drives me nuts. And the same thing applies to go on stage. Yeah, I'm like, do you not think I realized that I probably shouldn't have been wearing that suit? Like, yes, I see that my tan blends in with my suit. Thank you so much. It drives me crazy.
What do you guys think about like when people have belly ring, belly jewelry?
Have what?
Do any of you have the belly ring, or like?
I have my belly button pierced, yeah.
Do you wear your jewelry on stage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was asking. Do you? Yeah. Have you had any feedback from that? Is it like Shelby said, fine, right? Obviously.
Yeah, I actually I haven't heard anything about it like at all. I mean, I have a really small, you know, just a regular belly ring.
Ring.
Pull a picture.
Some people, I've heard some people criticize it, but then I think it's just, it depends on who you get in front of. It depends on, yeah.
Well, the fact that I know that Melissa had one means it obviously didn't distract from anything.
Yeah.
I had my belly button pierced, and I took it out just more or less because I was like, I'm sick of this thing. It was not like it had ever been a judge had told me to take it out. I wore it in at some point, and then I took it out. I can't remember when, but I've never been told not to wear it. I think as long as it's subtle and it's not distracting,
yeah,
it's probably okay. But I'll say that in any regard, you know, I'm more of like, you want to be remembered for like your overall look, not like one particular thing, like, oh, that girl had a distracting piece of feather in her hair or big flower. You know what I mean? Like, and I know you guys have probably seen that where it's like you see some sort of elaborate piece that
a crown
I would personally not be wearing, you know?
Have you ever seen people wear crowns?
No.
I have.
Yeah.
I think like I've seen female bodybuilders like in the bodybuilding division wear the big necklace and the crowns. Yeah.
Okay. I've seen a couple of girls at like local shows wearing the crown, and I was like,
okay.
I wouldn't wear a sword. I want to put my sword on my back and go out. I would come back just to do that. Like I'd put it on my back and then just like come out, like turn around, back to the bicep, and then there's the big sword.
Can you see the belly button ring?
No,
Oh,
you can find it on your store, on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Like it's real. Yeah. It just
Not
it
a
like
strap-on.
a sword, not a strap on.
What's the difference?
You're right. You're right.
You guys,
I bet. What are we doing? Are we creeping?
We're stalking me.
Oh yeah.
That's so interesting. I have no idea how you're doing that.
I love that suit right there.
I wanted, this is my, these are my favorite photos of Melissa, these ones.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
I
blue.
love that photo.
Those were with Will Edwards, who is incredible. He's one of my favorite people to work with. Like, he's not, he just makes you
Look at this.
not feel creeped out like men do.
This Melissa Brodsky girl is freaking hot.
Yeah, look at her. Who is
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Oh, she has a dog. Oh, I'm a fan of that.
Here it is.
Oh, sick.
Stud. Yeah.
Oh,
Are we
wow.
going
Those
to
are my
the
biggest
or
stuff,
what?
though.
There's the update. Wait, that's an older one, isn't it?
Yeah.
February 4. That's quite some time ago.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah, it's not very like, it's not big. It's not like you have a huge, like two
No,
rings.
it's
in that
subtle.
yeah.
Yeah, like I wouldn't wear like a dangly, thing.
Yeah, I had mine pierced back when I was like 19 years old or whatever. Then I took it out couple of years before I got pregnant, and I was like, how bad is this gonna look? It actually was fine. I was like, thank you, Jesus. You knew that I still wanted to wear a bikini after having a baby.
I actually let one of my friends in high school pierce my belly button, and it's crooked. So it's like it's not straight. And I still have a hole in my belly
Yeah.
button.
Dangerous place to like. I pierced my ears on myself, but
Yeah.
I know it probably wasn't the best decision looking back on it, but live and learn.
When I got my done, so they do like the fish hook thing first. And she was just like, she put it in there and she's like, oh, and I'm like, what's happening? And she's like, she goes, you really work out, don't you? And I was like, oh my gosh. Like it was totally stuck in the muscle. And she just was like, kind of, yeah.
I can do tattoos, but I cannot do piercing.
You look ill.
I feel it.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I was gonna add to Brooke what you were saying about your health, because I know like Melissa, you're always like bodybuilding's not healthy, but we know that, but there is a timeline, and I wanted to say that you always have time. Like there's no need to rush anything. And also, let's say your bodybuilding career is done on average for women around age 40. That means you still have over half of your life left to think about, and you don't want to be like Ronnie Coleman in a wheelchair because your workouts have like destroyed your back or your joints or anything, so I think with all the information that's out there, you can be, and just being like mindful and being questioning and stuff like that, you really have a lot of control. Brooke.
Ooh,
You choke?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
But you can be very
I don't think bodybuilding is gonna kill her. It's just whatever she swallowed. She spits on. Okay, that's gross. I'm sorry. I won't go.
Anyway, you have all the power to control this journey is what I'm trying to say. And you want to, because you don't want any of your options for life after bodybuilding to be taken away, whether it is you want children or you want to be able to, drop some of that muscle and be really healthy and active in other ways, or, whatever it is, because anything that you are passionate about, you can really get sucked into, to the point where, you know, you're like, oh, this is normal, but 15 years from now, it's not going to be normal, not paying a price or whatever. So,
Well, to that point, Deb, I think it's really important to acknowledge the fact that especially when it comes to training, but dieting too, but especially training and cardio, the ultimate goal is to bring a winning physique. I've heard this from so many people, and it's so true. When you're on stage, it doesn't matter what PRs you put up, it doesn't matter what exercises you do, it doesn't matter what cardio machine you used, as long as you have brought your best physique. Yep. So that's not to say don't push heavy weight. It's not to say, you know, don't like do things that are going to specifically bring your best physique, but just be mindful and careful that although it feels good and it's satisfying sometimes to do cool things in the gym, it's not necessarily always the optimal path to a winning physique on stage.
Well, and we know so much about training now. It's like, you know, we just didn't know this stuff 20 years ago. And like, you know, the last interview when I was talking with Alex, she was saying, you know, like I'm in my prep now. She said, I've swapped out my deadlifts for RDLs because it's a little bit more stable and a little bit less taxing and so on. It's like, you can swap out exercises because in your off season, when you are getting in more calories, you are able to, you know, lift heavier, lift stronger, and push your lifts a lot more. Once you get into prep, the goal now is just to keep the muscle. You're not building anything anymore. So there's no reason to do, you know, your 1 rep maxes and that type of stuff when your body is compromised. It just doesn't even make sense. You know, and I think people who are especially starting have no idea. They think prep is where the magic happens, and that's not where anything happens. That's where we're stripping off the body fat and holding on to the muscle. That's all that's happening. And the goal is to do that and keep as much muscle as possible while pulling off all the body fat. This isn't where you build your physique.
And that's why you're a bodybuilder in season and off season, and not just in season, because if you're not a bodybuilder off season, then you're not gonna improve in season. You know, you're not gonna be any better next year. In fact, you'll probably be worse. You'll probably never, you know, be one of those people, you know, competing for your pro card for 15 years.
Yes. Yeah.
If you have that expectation, you know.
Yeah. And you know, that's why you got to love it, because if you can't do it year round, there's no sense in doing it year after year after year to present the same package over and over. Like you said, Melissa, that's not bodybuilding. That's not improving. That's not what the goal is. So yes. Oh my gosh. Are you guys big coffee drinkers?
I'm not.
Brooke, you're not?
No, if I drink coffee, every once in a while I will, but it's like 1 cup plain black coffee.
Do you guys do like a lot of, do you do caffeine when you're dieting? Like, do you feel like you need that? Yeah.
I do it all the time.
Like, I'm like dying over here.
Are you all right?
What's going on?
Like I got something stuck in my throat. I'll work through it. It happens.
Just mute yourself and just choke. Like, just cough. My God.
Choke in silence, bro.
Horrible advice, Deb. Horrible advice. How about cough it up? Don't choke.
Oh my gosh. You guys, I have a serious question. What do you think makes life meaningful?
Loaded.
That's deep.
Yeah.
What, like, from on a day-to-day basis, because I know before we usually get started, we usually spend like a good 15 minutes just bitching so we can get it all out.
That's so true. Like I try not to take life too serious.
Yeah, I don't either.
I like I'm gonna die again. I'm like choking. All right. Someone else can talk for a moment while I gather myself.
At the end of the day, because I'm like always thinking about this because I'm right around like midlife crisis time, so I'm like thinking like what makes life laugh at me, but it's true. When you, at the end of the day, you look back on your life, like what is going to make it meaningful, or what kind of regrets do you think that you might have, Carrie, you're almost as old as me. Don't you think about that?
I know. I was waiting for you to say that. And I'm like, okay, if she's talking midlife crisis, I'm like right there. Like, I think for me, like, sometimes I feel like every day, like going to work every day and the thing that I do every day can get kind of redundant, and kind of like, sometimes I'm like, what is the point? Especially if somebody's like not making changes. I'm like, what is the point? And trying to find or remind myself of why I do what I do and what is the point. I think that's like, I know we change people's lives a lot, and more than probably what we even know. And when they do tell us, it's like, it's so meaningful. So I think definitely like helping people feel better about themselves is one thing. And being somebody's like confidant, I feel like I'm that a lot of times, because that's just kind of what it is with this job. But also, I don't know, my dogs definitely make things meaningful and put things into perspective every day.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things I think about too. Like, what kind of impact do I have on other people and relationships that I have? I also think it's funny too. I think I don't know if you all are like that, but I have to be able to vent stuff to somebody or I will explode. Like when life gets too hard. So it's either my therapist or Brooke, Kira, Melissa. We've all had one-on-one stuff where I'm just like, I just need to bitch for a second because I can't stand this, and otherwise I'm just gonna lose my mind.
Well, I think it's important to like vent. There's one thing, like, I'm not a negative person at all, but I will complain every single day about whatever has set me off that day, and it's like, it is better than out than in. So I'll vent, let me vent, let me get it out of my system, then I'm good to go. That will happen at least once every single day.
Which, I'm like working on, I say I'm working, I'm, sometimes able to do it, sometimes not, because I'm very like turned in. But there should not be guilt or shame associated with that. It's not like we all have it. And like a big thing for me is like, well, everyone has their shit. There's no reason for me to like put mine out there, but there is. You do have to get it out. And it's like I have a lot of guilt about, or shame. I don't know what it is. I feel bad getting it out, but it feels good. But then I'm like it's not worthy of being said.
But
or,
it is.
Or if it's a negative thing, why put it out there? And when I do stay in my own head, or even as I talk about it, actually, opposite, as I talk about it, it's easier to not exactly look at the bright side of it, but be like, okay, if I have this negative thing, if I shift my mindset to be like this and view it from this perspective, then it makes it not such a negative thing. So I do think it's so important to get those negative things off your chest in order to flip your perspective, because if you just have the negative running through your head, it's really hard to have conversation with yourself about it and change your mind. Even I mean, now I've gotten better at like catching myself thinking in a certain way, and then I can kind of do that on my own, but not always. It's definitely more likely to happen when you let it out, and then you remember that conversation, and the next time those thoughts come into your head or similar thoughts come into your head, you can shift your perspective on it again.
I think Jordan Peterson said that's how we work through stuff. When you talk something, otherwise it's just swimming around in your head, right? But when you give it its own structure, then you know what you're working through. And then you kind of like, as you say, like, this is the problem. And even if it wasn't like you didn't do what you should have done, you're like, oh, but this is what I'm going to do next time. And that's kind of like how we learn from these things. Otherwise, your head just goes crazy with all of the, like, I can't believe this happened to me. And I can't believe this happened to me. Plus, it's like how we connect too, you know, because if I'll say something and then, you know, Melissa, you're like, oh my gosh, that's exactly like that happened to me too, you know, and then Kira's like, oh yeah, and here's a story. So it's like, you know, I think it's really important. Yeah, just the talking and the communication, because otherwise this is where you do go mental, because you don't give stuff a voice. And I don't think it is being negative. And Melissa, I remember something you said a long time ago, one time when we were talking about how, you know, the worst thing is when you say something and then people are like, well, but somebody else has something so much worse. And it's like, Kira, you said this before too. It's not fair to say that. This is my problem right now. And I know other people have things worse than me, but that doesn't help me. It's still my problem. It's still worth, you know.
It's relative.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really is.
I think it's important for people to understand it's okay to not be okay all the time, you know, and I think people always feel like they have to be happy and show this particular lifestyle. That might not be the case. And I'm not saying that you have to be like down in the dumps by any means, but it's okay to like vent of this, whatever it is that's bothering you that particular day. It's okay to get it out. It doesn't make you any less of a person. It doesn't mean that somebody might be going through something way worse. Yes, that's always going to be the case, right? So like there's going to be people that are probably going through way worse situations than I'm going through, but there's people that are going through situations that aren't even as bad as what I'm going through. You know what I mean? But it's okay. It doesn't mean that my issues aren't relative, you know? But I think a lot of times it's just people don't want to show that they're weak. And I don't think that that's a sign of being weak. Plus, it's nice whenever you're venting about whatever you're going through at that given moment. Somebody might be going through the exact same thing and they might be able to give you advice that's beneficial to you, you know? I think it's just, we all should talk about our issues. And that's completely fine to talk about them.
Don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, don't feel bad.
I think social media has given us a perspective that, like, because, you know, you'll have people talk about something and they're just like, you know, then it's like, you know, you're like, oh my gosh, like everybody's just like, oh, that's me or whatever. I have the same type of problems. And it's like, yeah, you know, most days are pleasant at best. They're not like amazing. And a lot of them suck and life is really hard. You know what I mean? I think it's really normal. And people think that life isn't supposed to be hard on a daily basis. It is.
Yeah.
We all have jobs we have to do. We all have bills that we have to pay. We all have people that we don't like that we have to deal with. You know? I mean, honestly, if this could just be a world of animals, we'd all be so happy.
I know. I think every day it's some moment where I'm like, I hate people. Literally every day.
And then you see like a comment or you get a message or you see an interaction, you're like, I love people. People.
Yeah.
People are the best.
That doesn't happen for me.
This is me every time I do the podcast when I'm like interviewing somebody and I'm just like, I love people. And then I'm like, I love some people a lot.
Right.
like I love these one-on-one interviews. I don't really like people per se. Like, yeah. Oh, you guys, you have to tell us about the Angels event that you did, Melissa and Brooke, because it was like Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
Like bodybuilding. So tell us about, because this looked incredible.
It was a really cool event. And something that I actually like took away. I'm still like on a high from that event personally, but it was nice to be in a group with like-minded women, but you're not competing. You know what I mean? Like there was no stress in regards to being on stage. There's people that were in contest shape there, and there's people that were like not in contest shape. And that was huge for me because I'm like full-fledged off season, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was pretty nervous about it, to be honest, but I'm so glad I did it. And it was just, it was a good experience all the way around. So awesome.
Where
I honestly, I went into it like, you know, I committed to do it months in advance. I'm a sponsored athlete with Angel. I was like really excited about it, and then like as it came closer, it was like, okay, I have to like go and like do this thing. You know, I used the word have to and whatever. And then when I got there and I started like being with all the women, and it was just the most incredible experience. Like I just hit it off with everyone. The event was, like, was so cool what they put into it. Like the guy, I can't remember his name, but the guy who was like running the fashion show, he was like he was like a fashion show guy. Like he was like they all were. And I've never experienced anything like that. And it was just really like, oh, I haven't seen this.
there
What was the whole, like, I don't mean this negatively because it looked amazing, but like what started it? What was the whole point?
They do this. I think this is the fourth one.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's an annual event, and they just want to Angel Competition Bikinis wants to showcase you know, the women who wear their suits in all forms, and you know, all their different kinds of suits they make, because they do more than just competition styles. And I think they even had some guys, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The seamstresses are so talented.
Yeah, they really, to be honest, they went above and beyond for that entire event. And something that I think they kind of like use is they use the term confident, you know, a lot. And I think that's what the whole event is geared towards, is to showcase all different people, both men and women, of all different ages, styles, physiques, and they just want you to radiate that confidence on stage. So it was an awesome event. I felt very, very beautiful on stage. I felt like every other woman on stage was very beautiful, and they felt the same way. It was awesome. And I think the event, from what I understand, has grown each year, and it's something that they're going to continue to do. And I loved it. I hope to be a part of it again.
That's cool. Yeah.
Where is it located?
It was in Kansas City.
Okay.
And that's where their headquarters is. And oh my God, the venue that the event was at, it was this like speakeasy kind of like hidden part of this hotel mall.
Nice.
Like on like the top floor, that you had to like go through like the back door of this store, and then like up an escalator to get to. And it was just the coolest thing. And okay, like there were hundreds, like 200 girls or something in this. We all get there, and the day before, they're making adjustments on all of our alterations on every single person, just to make it fit them. Like, just unheard of. Really just an amazing experience, like how much pride the company takes in what they do.
Yeah.
So were the girls like all their sponsored athletes? Is that how they chose the people, or?
No, so we had a house of sponsored athletes, and then the other 150 women that were there, they had submitted applications and were selected to represent the brand and invited to come along. And you know, we all selected different packages, got tons of gear like that. Also, you know, it says confident on it. We got the jackets, robes, makeup kits, their own makeup line that they have.
Oh, cool.
Just the whole.
That's awesome.
It was, yeah. And you know, they did our tans, and there was an option to get like your hair and makeup done, and just,
you know, I actually wish there would be more opportunities like that within the bodybuilding opportunity because whenever you're competing, I know for me personally, I'm in the zone. Like I'm focusing on what I'm going to do whenever I get on stage. And so I'm not really like mingling with people until I'm like done competing and I'm not stressed. And then I'll kind of like come out and talk to people. But there at that event, there's no stress. No one's competing. You don't have to be worried about not being on your feet, you know, like everybody was mingling with one another, and it's awesome to like see people
keeps you motivated.
What is
Yeah,
that?
it keeps you
What's that
motivated.
chirping?
It's a bird. Zip
Fresh
chirping.
air, Brooke. Or Deb.
Zippy.
Actually, Deb, that was me.
Deb, that is
The
fresh
alarm
air.
going off.
Like
That
that's
is
so
the
adorable.
summer coming.
I know. I'm
That's what
outside.
that is.
The
I
only,
think it's wonderful.
the
Or
only
it's my dog. My dog sounds like a bird.
the only element of stress in the entire thing was making sure that you were in line with your number at the right time. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot more like low key than a competition, but like is that what you were saying? Like I get distracted by the bird. Like, so you get to meet like bikini like everybody's on the stage together, so you kind of get to meet everybody, whereas like I think kind of in the industry, unless you go out of your way, you're not really getting to always meet the people in the other categories.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not just it wasn't just competitors. It was people, women who and a few men who do all sorts of things that I guess involve wearing the suits. I mean, there was just all kinds, seriously, all kinds there.
That's awesome.
And ages. I think they had a girl that was in her 70s there, rocking a bikini on stage, and she looked amazing, you know? So that to me is very inspirational. And I just think it's an awesome avenue to be able to see women like that. And everybody was so supportive. The entire experience, the atmosphere was awesome.
Yeah.
And an aerialist come in and I didn't get to watch it. I was backstage, but yeah, she did an aerial routine, like a hoop and everything.
Oh yeah.
That stuff is always
That's
awesome.
really cool.
We need old people though, so Kira, we could do it next year.
Shut up. I was waiting for that to happen. I was like, how old is Brooke gonna say this old girl is? Is she gonna say she's like 45? Because I was gonna be like, no, don't you go there.
You guys, I'm gonna be 46 in next Friday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Oh dear God.
I know.
Sweet baby Jesus.
The freaking raisin.
You have glowy skin.
Yeah, your skin is very glowy. I need the secret.
The
I don't
light.
know what that is, but I like it.
I can't think of what it's called, but it's a lotion that has like little shimmer in it. And I really like. It has a little tint.
Victoria's Secret sexy on camera.
Yes, I'm ready for my OnlyFans. I'm ready for my OnlyFans. Well, great, shiny. So, hey, you guys, can you know, I was thinking about Melissa when you were talking about suit color, and like, what are some of your favorite suit colors like to see on stage? Like, what are some of the popular ones that you think, like, if people, I know it has to be kind of individual with what the person looks like, but like if you were to recommend like suit colors to people, what would you say are some of your favorites to see on people?
I mean, generally people with darker skin, darker complected people, they can rock yellows and greens, bright colors. I mean, you see red, like these are like primary, secondary colors. Like you don't see like mint colors and stuff like that. Again, maybe on like darker complected, but for like generally speaking, people wear like royal blue, emerald green, bright red, a deep purple, and then you can have like brighter accents and like your stones and everything. But I mean, even like the seminars that I've done recently, the judges are always saying like, we want to, just like we talked about with the jewelry, we want to see you.
Yeah.
So, your suit should be to compliment you, but not be a distraction.
I think it's kind of like person dependent too. Personally, my favorite color on stage is red. Red is my favorite color, but for me, I can't really wear red on stage because I tan a little bit more red. So I'll stick with like more royal blues or emerald greens for me. But I did wear a black like suit this past year when the fabric was black and I had like some blue stones and I loved it, you know? So I think you have to wear something that will be flattering to your physique. And just because you have a favorite color doesn't necessarily mean you should go with it. Maybe implement that into your suit, whether you're using like red stones on a darker fabric or whatever the case may be. But don't be opposed to some colors that you might not rock. You know, I've seen some girls that wear like a bold purple and that might not be their favorite color, but it looks awesome on them on stage. But a lot of these companies, they'll send you suit fabrics, you know, so I would always reach out to them and have them send you suit samples, you know, fabric samples. And I always have people put it on like their arm and snap a photo of it. And for the most part, you can see what color is going to jump off at you.
Yeah. And then be mindful of your haircut, like you talked about, like in contrast to your suit. And you want it to be in contrast to your suit. Like the year that I won my pro card, my suit was, the fabric was actually like multicolored, but like it on stage, it looked pretty much gold. And it was really pretty, but one a piece of my feedback was my hair is gold, my suit's gold, my skin's gold, you know, find something that pops a little, even though it looked good, like you want to pop more.
Yeah, you both said that, like if your suit color blends in with your tan color, it just does not look good. Yeah. So
I mean, I look pretty good, but
you look like the statue that you went home with.
exactly.
She's the Golden Globe. Someone asked, what recovery methods do you use as far as anything like sauna or cryotherapy or anything like that? Do you guys delve into any of that type of stuff? Or, I don't know, massage, I say as I rub my trap right now.
I do deep tissue work every single week. I also get adjusted chiropractic work every single week as well. Stretching, and I do use a sauna, but I kind of use a sauna as needed. I have a sauna in my garage that I love. Oh my gosh.
How do you implement that? Like, what do you mean as needed?
So like if I'm having like a week where I'm like abnormally sore, I'll go on like one of my rest days, like for example, like a Sunday, and I'll just go sit in the sauna for maybe 20 minutes, but I'll stretch in the sauna. So I'll use it as kind of like one of my rest days, but I'm not doing anything aside from that. But in the same sense, whenever I'm using the sauna, I'm not using it to like pull any sort of water. I'm staying hydrated. You know, I think a lot of times people will go in, and obviously if they're pulling water for an event to make weight or whatever, that's different. But the way I'm using it is for recovery purpose. So I'm making sure that I'm staying plenty hydrated throughout that process. But I might sauna maybe once a week, you know, if that. But there's weeks where I'll go where I'm not even using the sauna. I'll just use it as I feel needed.
Okay.
It's good for blood flow. So you're getting a lot of blood flow, and then that helps with that repair process. Plus you want like, you know, like cool is great for pain relief, but it's not healing. So I think you can, you know, and like a sauna does kind of feel good too. So it is a pretty, it does make you feel better as well, but it definitely promotes healing, I think, with all the heat and the blood flow.
I just get, since I've moved here, I've been getting weekly body work done. Like it's, you know, it's deep tissue to the bone, you know, screaming, crying kind of body work. But I get it every week. It absolutely sucks during it, but I keep going back. And it, you know, it really has been beneficial. Like I notice if it's a little bit, like my bodywork woman, she travels, So sometimes it's a little bit longer than a week, and I'll notice in my shoulders might get off kilter, and I can like feel the middle of my back like tingly and tight. And it's been really fantastic because in my training I can feel, it breaks up scar tissue and things that I didn't even know was blocking parts of my muscle.
Yeah.
Aside from that, like Brooke said, I need to start seeing a chiropractor. I know that's incredibly important, but I don't stretch. I don't do anything. I let other people do the stuff on me, and that's about it.
It's hard to do all the upkeep stuff too. Like, you're like, if I did all the things I was supposed to do every day, like I wouldn't have time to do anything else. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, I'd like to do this stretching, or I find little yoga things, and I'm like, this is an extra 15 minutes that I'm going to now add on to my, like, no, it's not gonna happen. So I don't know, if you can find a couple of things that you like to do, I think, yeah.
Hey, and sleep does wonders, right? Take rest days, make sure you're getting adequate amount of sleep each and every night. It's huge.
Do you feel like, I always felt like every time I got a massage, I almost felt like I was in a fight, and I like could take a nap afterwards. I was always like, it always makes me so tired because I'm like, oh my God, like you're ripping me apart.
Yeah, it's like trauma to your body, basically.
Yes.
So if you don't drink enough water too, you can get really sick from it.
Yeah.
I would like you have to make sure you stay really, really hydrated with it.
Oh, Epsom salt baths.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've never done that. Do you guys feel like those worked out well for you?
I do them, but I don't know if they actually do anything.
I literally take a salt bath every single night. I'm such a bath person. It's
Me
unreal.
too.
I love a good salt bath.
Yeah.
Do you guys have big, like, you don't have regular bathroom baths? Do you have like a big tub?
Mine it's like round on the sides, It's like, it's nice.
Aw,
Every night.
coming over to your house.
Bring it on.
Be like that. I'm just gonna sneak in here. Don't mind me. Yeah, I'm in the bath. Me too.
Me too.
Let's do a podcast from the
No,
bath.
like,
We should,
I
yeah,
mean, like bubble.
Bath time with
Yes.
the girls.
That'd be hilarious.
I think we should do it one day. I think it's a great idea.
Bath chat.
Bath
Bath.
chat. Yeah.
That would get a lot of views. I think it'd be pretty popular.
Heck yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, is everybody I don't know. What do you got going on the rest of the week? Anything crazy? Same old, same old. What are we doing for my birthday?
It's the 22nd. No, is that right?
Yes. Big bath.
I'll pour one out for you. Another year older. Oops. How about we'll do 46 reps of everything.
Oh, there we go. That'll be
Yeah.
fun.
I'll have my clients do it too.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Like a deadlift
Deal.
challenge.
Mm-hmm. The old gal challenge.
Oh,
Can you handle it?
oh my gosh. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad that let's just savor the moment a minute. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I'm going to let you all go then so that you can go about the rest of your Sunday. It's like beautiful here, but I think we might get snow again. So I don't even know what to
Ugh.
think about life.
That's
Don't
gross.
say that.
It's like Texas, it's like 85 degrees now every day.
Isn't that
Oh.
nice? It's 82 today. I'm loving it. I gotta do
It's
some yard
61.
work.
Oh my
Oh.
word. Oh, hi,
Yeah.
Roderick.
He's gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh,
I was like, okay, potty break.
all right. We'll let you guys, we'll let you go then. So, all right, everybody, thanks for watching, listening to another episode of the Women's Fittest Chick Chat. Don't forget to leave us those awesome reviews if you want us to come back and talk some more, because That's
And if you want us in the bathtub, just let us know.
Yeah,
No,
no
no.
problem.
We'll make it happen.
Send your dollars. Send your dollars to KS Newman at, no, I'm just kidding.
my
We'll
Venmo
spread the-
is Deborah.
$7 PayPal's down below.
Yeah. If we get up to this much, we'll definitely get in the bath and talk.
GoFundMe for the bath chat.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I was just thinking about like none of us have like big boobs where you always see like in the tub the boobies floating.
Hey,
I'll
all
get
you
balloons.
do, if you put your knees up really close, they won't know the difference.
Oh my gosh, that would be
I'm
hilarious.
testing it out tonight.
Right now.
Let's test it out tonight.
Yeah. Awesome. Just next time on Bath Chat, and remember that healthy looks different on everybody. Bye.
Bye.